you for tuning in to another episode of Designing Rachel Marie. I am yours truly, Rachel Marie. And since our last little chat, there has been a lot of major changes. And I actually am very excited to share those changes with you guys today. Also, I've been doing a lot of just trying to get my mind right, my focus right. Also trying to make sure I commit to this gym. I'm like, this last little bit of time, I have to go hard, not miss a day. Like, it's serious in my eyes. So I'm just really focusing hard on what I'm eating, going to the gym, just making sure I'm on schedule. And of course, my jobs is being a mother, my, normal 9 to 5, just a lot. And of course, keeping up on this channel. But I was kind of really waiting to drop this video until I actually got all of my ducks in a row for the changes that I made. Once I knew that everything was for certain, that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna share with everybody. So you guys are the first to know about my changes. I haven't actually even told all of my family yet. So this is actually my way of getting it out there. And then of course I'll call some of my closer family members and explain the process to them as well. But let's get to it. So I have changed my surgeon. Yes, I changed my surgeon. And with that has changed my surgery date just a little bit. It actually took it 6 days out. So my official surgery date at today's date is 34 days. Yep, 34 as of right now. The new surgery date is June the 4th. So that is a Tuesday, June 4th. I will be flying to the Dominican Republic on Sunday, June the 2nd. And then, of course, I'll do all my testing in my labs and all of that, which I'll explain all of that to you guys closer to time. But I'll do all of that stuff, be ready for Tuesday morning to have surgery. So I know you probably are really wondering who's the new surgeon and why did she switch? So, I gave you all of my reasons initially on why I picked the first surgeon. This surgeon I have actually been doing a little bit of research on for a while. I've been watching her work. I honestly admire it. It's actually a woman. Her name is Dr. Duran. She is kind of popular. You probably have heard that name before. Duran Dolls. Again, she's a very popular woman plastic surgeon, and I mean, she does amazing work. And to be honest, when I was initially looking at her work, I was really kind of scared to reach out because she is very particular. She has a, reputation, excuse me. She has a reputation of being very particular and who she picks to do her surgery on. So she's very picky. She will not accept everybody. So you can send your pictures in and send for a quote, but she won't just accept you because you got money. That's not how she works. She picks dolls that she feels like she'll be able to get the best results off of. And I think that's another reason why all of her dolls have such a, good look for her brand. And that's, why her work is what it is, because she's not just accepting anybody that's willing to pay or has the money to pay. So again, when I first started looking, I was nervous to even send for a quote because I was like, oh, what if she doesn't pick me? And I was kind of like, well, what if I feel some type of way about that? But I went ahead and did it. Here goes the thing about sending for a quote. You can't just request a quote with her directly through her office and expect to get a response. Typically, if you send it directly to her office, you won't get a response. The way her office works is you actually have to typically hire a coordinator, and that coordinator basically has a relationship with her office and they get the quote for you quicker. Other than that, I've seen dolls waiting for months if they've sent it directly to her to get a quote. So initially going into this, I had a friend that kind of told me about the process. So I went through 3 different coordinators. I know this sounds crazy, right? So I went through 3 different coordinators because different coordinators have different dates with her. And so the first coordinator that I went through did not have a date until like late June. The other one had one at the beginning of June. And then the other one had one May 23rd. So I went through the 3 coordinators, what I've discovered is that each coordinator charges a different fee. So the fee can range anywhere from like 100 to 150, some 200, and then their quote amounts were different, which I thought was pretty odd. So I kind of figured maybe they were throwing in a little bit of extra for themselves. So I always give myself options. So I sent out the 3 quotes and I went with the cheapest quote. The cheapest quote that I got was $5,300, and I'm going to do a separate video on the price breakdown for Duran, but that was the cheapest quote that I got was a $5,300, and then the coordinator charged me $150 to coordinate it. So in order to book, after I sent my pictures and everything, and she got the quote back, I had to pay $400, which was $250 to Duran and then $150 to my coordinator. I ended up actually using my recovery house, which is Healing Haven Recovery Home, and Jules is my representative. And Jules actually submitted for the quote, went in person, paid my deposit, sent me a picture of my deposit, and the Dr. Duran's office actually sent me an email confirmation of my surgery date, that everything was booked and we was ready to go. So anyway, I sent her $400 through Bank of America, the little Zelle app, Bank of America Chase. I think I mentioned it before in one of my other videos about that. But I sent her the $400 so she could get everything situated for me. And we got that all squared away today. So that's what I was really waiting to do this video for, because I wanted to make sure all my changes were set in stone and ready to go before I actually shared them with you guys. So back to my process of submitting the quote. So I submitted the quote. They came back. They said it was good to go. I submitted the money. The reason why I chose Duran over Dr. Mejia, and I've been actually, let me tell you guys, I've been pronouncing his name wrong, and I'm so sorry, because I kept saying his name was Dr. Mejia. It's Mejia. Sorry. So, these punctuations and all of that, I apologize. So anyway, I'm correcting myself now, so you won't be able to say that I didn't correct myself. So it's Dr. Mejia. So the reason that I chose Duran over Mejia was basically because of the way that she contours the waist, the way she does the hips and the lats with her BBL. So the way she curves you out, I'm in love with it. I am completely in love with her work. Like, don't get me wrong, Dr. Mejia does some great work, and it's going to look very, very natural. So I still highly recommend him just because of the work that he does and the references that I was given in regards to how safe and clean and everything. Great surgeon. I just don't want to be one of those people that have to continue to go back for different rounds because I didn't achieve the look that I wanted the first go around. And I feel like with Duran, I'm going to get what I'm looking for on this first round, because again, I'm choosing to probably go back for another round after this, but that would be to do some other things, not to do another BBL or another tummy tuck. That would probably be to do my breasts, and some other stuff, which I'll share at that time if that's what I'm going to do. And at this point, it's just a thought in my head. I don't know exactly if I'm going for a round 2, but we'll see how I feel after this one. But for my round 1, I wanted to be really, really satisfied. And like I said, all of her dolls that I have saw have amazing figures. When I tell you amazing, a lot of people, it's funny when you say lats and hips. It is a difference between lats and hips. And I'm going to put this picture at the end of this video that I actually found online that describes the difference between lats and hips. But the way she does the lats and hips with the BBL and the way she brings that waist in, baby, she snatches. So that's why I'm choosing to switch. And I'm like, you know what? This is, what I want to do. And so I just went ahead and did it. So yeah, change it to Duran is what I wanted to do. I feel like, of course, it's my decision. It's my body. It was a couple people that I kind of was discussing it with up front. And they were like, well, why are you switching so close to the time? They really didn't understand. And that's okay. I'm not asking for anybody to agree with me. I'm not asking for anybody to understand me. At this point, I feel like this is my body and I'm going to do what I want to do with my body. And I'm going to trust it in the surgeon's hands that I want to trust it in. It's really honestly not anybody else's decision at this point. It's just based off of what I want and who I want to choose to trust my body with and spend my money with. And, once I got that quote back, I was like, oh, this is perfect. And then also just with the airline. So I ended up having to change my date, right? Because she had a date on May 23rd. That was not going to work for me because my kids were not out of school. That was just going to make, you know, a whole bunch of things just inconvenient. So I couldn't go with that date. So I ended up going with the June 4th date. That of course, was a few days from my initial date because my initial date was May 29th. So, you know, it was just a couple days out. So, you know, my processes with dropping my kids off, all those arrangements didn't have to change with that date. So it worked out perfectly. But I did have to change my flight information. And let me tell you the great thing about changing your flight. I bought the main cabin ticket through Delta, which isn't the base fare one, but it's the one where you can pick your seat and all of that. It's a little bit more expensive than the base, but it's of course not the comfort or the first class. But I bought that ticket where you can make changes to your ticket. Well, typically, when I called initially and asked, can I make a change? They told me, yeah, you can make a change with no problem. So when I actually called back to change my flight, the lady was like, well, there's a $200 change fee. And I was like, well, hold on. That's not what she told me a few days ago when I called. And now you're telling me it's a $200 fee. I'm not going to pay a $200 fee. Can you please put a manager on the phone? So that's just me. Yeah. Okay. So they put the manager on the phone. And then, you know, I explained to her that I called initially and they told me it wasn't going to be a fee. So why did I pay this extra money for this ticket if you're not going to allow me to change my flight? So I guess with the basic fare, you can't change at all. With this one, you can change, but there's a $200 fee. So I explained to her, I was like, well, look, my surgery date changed and I can't have surgery on the date that I initially was going to have surgery. She was like, oh, it's a medical reason. And I was like, yeah. And so she was like, okay, well, no, we can change it for you with no fee. So just so you guys know, if you ever have to change a flight through Delta, if it's a medical reason, they will allow you to change it without a fee. So all I had to do was provide her with the doctor's name and the address to the facility. And they waived the fee. They changed the flight. There was only a $13 difference in the cost in flight. So I had to pay the $13 because it was, you know, actually the cost difference between the tickets, but I didn't have to pay any penalties or anything additional, $13, and I was able to change my flight. So again, now I fly out on June the 2nd, which is a Sunday, same time, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'll make it to the Dominican by 1, and then I'll return home on the 17th of June, which is actually a Monday. I have a hell of a layover on that flight. I think I'm actually going to be laid over in Atlanta for like 5 hours. So that's going to be a long flight. As a matter of fact, I have a few relatives that live in Atlanta, few people. So I'm probably going to reach out to them and see if they want to hang out for a couple hours while I have that long layover. Because I just can't imagine sitting at the airport for 5.5 to 6 hours. That's going to be a pain in my ass. So anyway, okay, so I think I've answered most of the questions that you guys are going to have. If there is any more questions that you guys have for me, please feel free to comment in the section below. You can also DM me, send me any instant messengers, email me, whatever you feel comfortable doing. I do respond. I have been responding to any and all comments that have been left under my video. So if you have left a comment for me, I do respond to all those comments. I'm trying to keep up on that because I don't want to be one of those people that, you know, leave people hanging with responses. I mean, unless it gets to demanding to the point where I can't keep up, that would be the only reason that I wouldn't be able to respond. But I'm trying to stay on top of everything for you guys because I know just like how I am, you probably have many questions. So if there is something that you want me to address, I will. Also in the comment section, the details of the video, I'm going to list out the doctor's full name if you wanted to go and find her. I'm also going to list her IG. As a matter of fact, I'll copy the link to our IG and actually show what our IG name is if you wanted to follow her on IG, because that's where I see majority of her work. And then there's a couple groups on Facebook for her active dolls and dolls that are in the process of getting surgery, and they share a lot of pictures, questions and answers and things like that. And there's also another Dominican Republic group that I am in on Facebook, and that group is amazing. When I tell you that the women in that group are so supportive, and like everybody asks questions, everybody gives input. Anytime I have a question about something, all I have to do is go to that group and I ask it, and I'll get several answers from many different people. As a matter of fact, when I first got my quote from Duran, I went into the group and I just wanted to see what other people thought in regards to me changing, and like it was unanimous. Everybody was like, yes, you need to go with Duran, girl. I mean, I was already feeling that way, but I just wanted to get some feedback from some other people that are in the surgery world that pay attention to details and stuff like that, and know this type of stuff. So if you're on Facebook, I encourage you to find the Dominican Republic surgery group on there. You have to answer a few questions before you can get accepted, and then you'll get accepted. And then if you're interested in Duran, there's 2 groups on Facebook, one for active dolls. I actually joined both of them. They didn't act a certain kind of way because I haven't had surgery with her yet, but I did put that I'm trying to get surgery, so they accepted me. So there's one for active dolls, and there's one for dolls that are on their journey to getting surgery, or that are just thinking about the surgery process. And then IG displays a lot of Duran's work. That's where I got the bulk majority of the viewings that I was getting this on IG. And when I tell you she posts, whoever is in control of her IG page, they post multiple times a day. So it's never going to be a shortage of people that you'll be able to see in regards to her results and so forth. And then also another thing that I wanted to say, my next video, I wanted to do it on BMI requirements, but I just wanted to say with Duran, her BMI requirement was a little bit different than Dr. Mejia's. So that also could be a determining factor for some of my viewers if you're trying to figure out what plastic surgeon to go with. Dr. Mejia's BMI requirement was a 36 and under. 36 being the highest, and anything, of course, under. And Dr. Duran requires your BMI to be 33 or under. So you have to be a little smaller to go to Duran than you would to go to Mejia. And every doctor has their own BMI requirements, but I'm going to do a whole nother video. That's actually my next video I want to do, is on BMI requirements and hemoglobin levels, because that is really, really important. And I'm excited because I finally got my hemoglobin levels up. And so if you have not watched the vitamins that I'm taking and not taking and stuff like that, watch that, because that's going to help you get those levels up. But yeah, I think that's all for now. I do apologize again for the lapse in time, but I was really honestly just trying to get a lot of stuff situated before I came back on, because I wanted to make sure this was what I shared with you guys once I had it finalized, but I didn't want to speak on it until it was done. So now that I know it's done, I am a Duran doll in the making, in the process, and that will be occurring on June 4th. So our countdown has been extended a little bit longer, but that's okay. We're at 34 days today and moving forward. Again, thank you all so much for being so supportive and caring, and I will catch you guys in a few days.
Every single day